Right, here we go. Number 3, I think even. What I'm going to talk you guys through today is swing through. It's used by many, but used incorrectly. And I think a lot of people don't really understand it. And again, it's something we're going to be able to struggle with consistently until we fully understand how it works, where it works, and how it should be used. So a very simple rule for me is if the target requires under 18 inches of lead, I'm going to use swing through. If it requires over 18 inches of lead, I'm going to use pull away. We'll get into that later on. But swing through is a 1-speed swing, where pull away is a 2-speed swing. You match the speed of the bird, then you change speed. Swing through is actually done at 1 speed. So the speed at which you start is the speed at which you finish and pull the trigger. Now, why that is important is the fact that swing through is 2 leads, and it's a thing most people don't even pay attention to. There's a negative lead and a positive lead. The negative lead is how far you start behind said object. Positive lead is how far in front of it you shoot. So if we go into a station and we shoot, let's say for instance we start 18 inches behind the bird. We've not planned that, that's just where we've inserted. We swing the gun and we shoot 2 inches of space in front of it, and we're successful. If we replay that and make sure we give the next bird 2 inches of lead, which is the bit that we believe we should be paying attention to, but yet we start 3 feet behind it on the negative space, we've now doubled the speed of our gun almost, and the 2 inches no longer works. So we're sitting there saying, Christ, I gave this bird the same lead, but I just never hit it again. So what's more important is the negative. It's the negative lead into positive lead. The only way they stay the same is for them both to stay the same. So not only have you got to walk in there and decide how much you're going to give it, you've also got to decide how much you're going to start behind that bird. Now, for me, the less the lead it wants, the less I'm going to start behind it. I don't need, if I want to see a small lead, then I certainly don't want to start a long way behind and energize the gun. So if I draw 2 targets for you here, both exactly the same bird. So if we've got these 2 targets here, we've got one doing 20 mile an hour, unfortunately it does say 20 but the camera's backwards, and 60 mile an hour. Where I insert behind is going to be different. On this one here, I would insert real tight behind and then make a very slow 1-speed move through the bird and in. This bird here might require just a little bit more forward lead, positive lead. So I'm going to start further back, and it's going to give me more gun speed to accelerate through that bird and get out to my positive lead. So when you do go in there and just shoot swing through, you don't then come up to the bird at 1 speed, catch the bird, and then change speed again. It's like I said before, it's a 1 constant gun speed to take you through. But try going in there and planning the negative lead. I guarantee loads of you have never, ever, ever even thought about negative lead and how important it is. It's probably more important than the positive lead, because if we're using swing through, the positive lead should be very, very small. So we're going to control that part of it. But to keep that the same and to be consistent, we need to control the negative space. And if we mount at a different time, we've now lost control of that negative space as well. So our mount speed must be correct too. We must keep that the same. So for me, swing through is a very, very important place in the sport, but it can be a serious hindrance if you're doing it wrong. So when you walk into that station, you think, right, I'm going to start behind this bird, bang, stop. I'm going to start behind it by how much, and that's going to control how much positive lead it wants. Once you figure out them, get in there and get stuck in. If it works on the first shot, you now must control that negative space every single time. Don't get caught up thinking this is just positive lead. I mean, yeah, if I give this bird 2 inches of lead every time, I'm going to hit it, because it's not, unless you control that negative space as well. I'm going to get onto other methods throughout the week. You know, like I said, I think this is something you can draw at home. You can sit down and say, well, you know what birds do I shoot swing through on? And just have a look, play back in your mind. To do any work at home, to do any kind of training for these shooting sports at home, you've got to be able to remember targets. You've got to be able to visualize targets in your head. And you've got to be able to press playback and understand how that method is going to work. So if this is the target here, and I'm going to come in here and swing, and the next one I come in here and swing, I've just changed my gun speed, therefore I must have changed my forward lead. If you look at the 3 methods, swing through is the fastest gun, pull away is next, and the slowest is maintain lead. So them 3 things alone will have a huge impact in your space. So just quick tips on swing through: control your negative lead, 1 speed of gun, that will keep you consistent at your positive lead. Just really quick tip on swing through. Hopefully you can all join me online tonight and we'll get through some more. Be safe.